Well, hello everybody, this is Jasmine Gonzalez. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Monday, May 16, 2022. I am on my way to work. Yep. So, I think I got another interview for an electrician apprentice, if I'm not wrong, this week. Also, first of all, I burned myself the other day. Like you can see in here, and it has like a little bubble in there. I burned myself on when was it? Saturday night. I had a pizza in the oven, and when I went to get the pizza out, that part of my body, I didn't open the whole door of the oven, so that part of my body touched the hot oven door. So I was trying to pretty much wrestle the oven door, and yeah, hot oven won. Yeah, it sting a little bit, but I'm feeling fine right now. Like it's not that bad. But it does have a little bubble in there, so it's a serious burn. I had an issue one time. I touched a little bit. I have a scar here that was caused by me burning with an industrial oven. I was working at a company, and I pretty much the sleeve only protected a certain part of my body, but not the whole arm, and that was painful. Oh, it's like damn it. I was trying to do things too fast. So anyway, so yeah, so today's Monday. Yesterday something happened at work, and I want to talk about this. I know that in a previous video I talked about one of my concerns is like, or like I tell some of my friends, I pass a swipe until I open my mouth. And by that I mean that I do have an accent, and if anybody's hearing this, sometimes I cannot hear my accent because I gotten used to the way that I talk, and I think that I don't have an accent from my point of view. And if I do, it's very small. But when I look at my videos, sometimes I understand that certain things don't come out, or you may have a little bit of a hard time understanding what I say, which is why I try to slow down a little bit so I don't, because in Spanish when we talk we speak very fast, like there's no time limit. Like seriously. So I try to slow down so that way my accent is not too long. But sometimes I get carried over and I start talking like really quick. So yeah, and there are certain words that I pronounce slightly different. That's because my first language is Spanish. So I know Spanish fluently, I know English, I can manage myself really well with English, I don't need any translator. My brain thinks 100% of time in English, until I decide to switch into Spanish. Y entonces ahí es que viene que yo empiezo a hablar español, y pues mi cerebro empieza a pensar en español de nuevo. But then I cambio de nuevo al inglés, entonces my brain starts thinking English once again. So it's really interesting how that works. And it took me a while to get to this point. Like in Puerto Rico, one of the things that I did to train my ear and was to watch movies with in English with closed caption. And once you start speaking English, like there comes a point where your dreams become English. Though sometimes I have dreams that are in Spanish, and sometimes I have dreams that are in English and Spanish, which is it's quite interesting. In any case, I do have an accent. I understand that I have an accent, and for certain things like acting in theater, especially when I go into auditions and they are looking for somebody that can do a particular accent, I'm not very good with accents. That's number one. It's very difficult for me to do other accents. I can do accents in Spanish from other areas of the Spanish-speaking world, but I cannot do accents in English. I have tried. I found miserable, and but when I still go to auditions, like there are like Shakespeare, for example. Sometimes I don't get many roles in Shakespeare because people like that are looking for a particular accent, you know. And that to me is a little bit sad because I like Shakespeare, and there are roles that I would love to have the opportunity to play. And and there were roles that I auditioned for that I wanted to get the opportunity to play those roles, but I never had the chance. So that makes it a little bit tricky sometimes when you go to auditions. There are also plays that I like, but because I don't have I have a particular accent when I speak, I have not gotten those roles. And I know I can memorize lines and all that kind of stuff, but it becomes a little bit difficult to not be able to get those opportunities. Sometimes also I feel like when I go to job interviews, people bias me because of my accent. And I think that was the case when I went to an interview a few years ago, back in 2017. I went to an interview with the New York State Department of Public Service. And I think probably that's why the person let that comment come out. That person, one of the interviewers said, like, people like you have a hard time with the training. And that was highly biased. That was something racist that person should haven't said, honestly. Because he doesn't know my background. He doesn't know where I come from, I think he just heard my accent and decided to, like, blast me for that. And when I called the attention, I'm not racist, and all that kind of stuff. No, he just said a comment that is racist. It's like the comment that I did yesterday at work. And it's one of the things that I hate the most is when I have to deal with people that I used to work in a call center, and during training I hear people calling, and people will hear my accent, will be like, is there somebody that's speaking English? I want to talk with somebody that can't speak in English. And yesterday that happened again. I had a customer, I asked them kindly to spell their last name, but there was a lot of noise in the background, so I couldn't understand what they were saying. So I asked them to repeat their last name again, and the person's response went to like, can I talk to somebody that speaks in English? Like, that is such a rude comment, and it hurts so much when I hear that comment from people. Number one, because it really annoys me, it hurts me, because I know English, and yes, I do have an accent, but just because I have an accent doesn't mean that I don't know English. It's so biased, and it shows how people can be, and not all people, some people can be ignorant, and it shows how racist they can be, honestly. And to people that says, oh no, this country has no racism, bullshit. There's racism out there. There's people that are biased towards another person for their accent, and also even for the color of the skin, and it hurts. And it hurts when you hear those words because you don't feel included, and also it probably has cost me job opportunities too. Because if I go to a professional level interview, you never know how the person that is conducting the interview is going to be biased. They may have some expectations, but then when I open my mouth, that expectation is not met. And then they have to target their own biases. And because our society doesn't focus on targeting those biases or teaching people how to understand their own biases, it becomes difficult to surpass that point where people are going to be more open to accept you as who you are. It's like the norms of femininity too, and it's something else that I feel like I have to deal with. A person may have some bias. They may expect, if I go to an interview, I'm a woman, yada yada, I show up, they may have an idea of what a woman should look like, and if I don't meet the biases, there's going to be bias of that person towards me, and that could cost me a job or things like that. And they will make false assumptions too, because so for some people, if you have an accent, then that means that you are not too smart. They will bias you. Even though I have a master's degree and I'm highly smart, and I know I'm highly smart, they may still be biasing me because of my accent. And that is something that I personally feel like a part of me will like to work on ditching my accent completely, but a part of me is like, why do I have to ditch my accent so that I can fit into more into society? My accent is part of who I am. It's part of my heritage. It shows that even though I come from Puerto Rico, I'm still able to do what I need to do and survive. It's part of my culture. I feel like my accent, it allows me to to tell people like, hey, I'm not from here. I'm from Puerto Rico. I came from Puerto Rico, and it's part of who I am. I don't think I want to ditch my accent. I don't think having an accent should be a measure of how a person is capable or not capable of doing a job in the first place. So that to me is upsetting whenever I hear the comments coming from somebody saying that, oh, is there somebody that can speak in English? It annoys me, it makes me angry, and it makes me depressed too, to an extent, because it shows me how the culture in mainland United States has not changed much. It makes me feel really sad, honestly, and it makes me give me the other perspective from the other side, and it shows me the reality that we live in, that a lot of people wants to deny it and pretend that it doesn't exist, because they think that we have already fixed it, and they think that those things don't happen, when the reality is that they do happen. And even though I'm a US citizen, because I was born in a US territory, I still have to deal with this negativity and that exists in our society. And as such, that's why I said, like, yeah, racism can exist, biases do exist, and unfortunately there's people that want to deny those things or ban the people that want to talk about these things. And unfortunately, that is not the way to deal with this thing. We need to become more aware of our own biases. You know, I became, when I was growing up and getting older, and I became aware of my own biases. I began working on ditching those biases, because those biases are that they're just biases, and they are not necessarily true. They are not even true. Let's say it. They are not true. So, for me to become a better person, when I'm dealing with situations, I have to remove all type of biases, and it's difficult. It's something that is not easy to do, you know. But you have to do it, because you have to realize that the world is very diverse. That there's people that come from different backgrounds, and because of that, you have to remove those biases, because otherwise, you are going to hurt another person. You are going to feel that person not feel welcome, and from a business standpoint, you can end up losing customers too. So, and you're going to also miss the opportunity to target certain groups, especially if you're running a business, hiring a person that is from a different country. If they have an accent and they also know their own language, they could bring customers to that store, to that particular business, because of the fact that they are bilingual. So you will be missing opportunities as a business person too, by being biased and only hire certain people and not hiring certain other people because of your own biases. So that's how I got for now. I know that I talk a lot, and I know that this is a subject that some people get cringy to talk about, but, and I'm putting it out there because honestly it's something that I have dealt with, and yesterday was a reminder that yes, this is something that I still have to deal with. Even though I've been living here for 17 years, maybe more, I still have to deal with situations like the one that happened yesterday over the phone. And to me it's sad, and to me it's annoying, and it does make me angry too. And I just wish people will be more understanding of that, so that way we can change as a society and become more welcome towards others. Because the future, I'm part of the future of our society here. I live in here. I have no plans to go anywhere. I'm a productive member of society too. But who knows how many opportunities I may have been denied because of a person bias in an interview. So yeah, it's something to think about, and I want to sometimes not think about it, because I want to pretend that people are rational and people are smart and people are not going to be thinking that way. But hearing that comment yesterday makes me rethink a little bit of why certain things sometimes have become a little bit more difficult for me to get. And anyway, that's how I got. Peace, everybody. Stay safe, and I see you in the next video blog. And hopefully you all have learned a little bit by watching this video. Thank you for watching.